you're asking is, I mean, an easy question and a very tough question, because how do you define yourself? There are so many facets to it. So there's one facet of mine which is very obvious, and that is the passion and obsession with medicine, taking care of people, and the best possible way in the world. So this is one aspect of me. And the idea being that when you want to be associated with a profession which is dealing with human life, when people come to you, they are coming in a compromised state. So that means that they are already vulnerable. That puts extra responsibility on us, because they have a disease, they are psychologically very sort of upset, or you can say thrown off, they are anxious, one about whether they'll be well again or not, what will happen to them, what procedure will happen, how much it's going to cost, what's going to happen to your family. So there are many, many aspects which you have to deal with when you are dealing in this profession, where you have a family, you have a responsibility, and you have compromised so many things. And that's where the difficult part starts. So when you are so passionate and obsessed about doing a good job or the best in the world, you keep running, that's one part, but it does not come without a cost. You have to pay a price. And the price I paid was that I shortchanged my family for time and attention when the children were growing up. So my wife fortunately is a strong person, a great mother. So she took care of the family. So there was a synergistic relationship, but like I said, I missed that part of it. And that's how you say, how do you define a human being? You must define the totality of it. But the totality of it comes as, all said and done, I consider myself blessed in my profession, blessed by my family, and basically a very happy and content individual. That's what I am. So from the very beginning, I was born 1 year before partition. In fact, I was born on the 12th of August 1946, and so my family, my parents are both doctors. They were living in Pakistan, and then overnight they had to leave, and they came empty-handed. So they got in settlement a 3-room flat in Connaught Place, where my parents used to practice in one room each, and we used to live in one room. That is my father, mother, my sister, and myself. So it was like a sort of a crowded but a very pleasant experience living there. And that exposed me to patients coming in to see my mother, who was a gynecologist, babies being delivered, all this stuff. And my father was an ENT surgeon, and all these people used to come in pain and all that and leave smiling. So I'm sure that made a big impression on my mind, that medicine actually related to society, to people in a very positive way. Then I used to love to work with my hands and create things. I was always into mechanos, what is Lego now. I used to be aero modeling, creating planes out of balsa wood blocks. So there was a whole lot of things that went in for my working with hands, and I was a good sportsman. I was on every team, so that I had unlimited stamina. So I think all these things culminated into a later life, but so that leapfrog. But then I went to medical school, and over there I felt the frustration of medicine. And then when I went to the US and became a surgeon, joined the surgical, that's when I realized the value of what I had been doing. As a surgeon, you need unlimited stamina, which I had. I was ambidextrous because by accident I was born a left-handed, but in those days left-handed was considered unlucky. So my tutor used to break my knuckles to convert me to the right-handed. My handwriting went to pot, and that time I was very unhappy. But when I went to this operating room, I realized it took me half the time to do the surgery, because I'd just switch hands and then start stitching with my left hand. So this was an asset which was given to me by that tutor. So when I came back visiting India, I took him huge number of gifts to thank him for making me special. So, you know how things work together to actually bring you to a spot. So, I don't think anybody. It's a journey which is matched to your thought or soch, as you can say. It is my moral responsibility because thousands of patients were coming from India to US to New York to me to operate on them. On an average, 200-300 patients used to come every year. And I knew that for everyone that came, there were thousands who couldn't come. So if that was the case, why it was an opportunity in one way and my moral obligation in another to create that facility in India where we could train our own doctors, we could do our own research, and we could treat our patients at 1/10 the cost. That's when my journey started, and I did Escorts Heart Institute and made it into a very successful place. So the realization came to me that India was not called India because we did not have that what we call master of your own destiny. So I thought we had to create our own center, our own Harvard, Mayo, Cleveland. So this is Medanta now that I said it must have the best facilities. Facilities means for patient care, but also for research, teaching, development, molecular biology, so that we could then become an institution which could develop new things. Second was that it must have technology greater than anybody else or as good as anybody in the world. Third, it must have the human capital which is exceptional, which is benchmarked around the world, not locally. जैसे अंधों में काना राजा नहीं, राजा चाहिए हर discipline का. And fortunately all these three things came together, and my vision was and is, or actually it's my junoon, to say that we will create the new medicine out of India, which will be a combination of modern medicine and traditional Indian medicine, that is Ayurveda. So we have done a lot of research now. So I wake up in the morning, I will exercise. I will also 3 times a week do yoga. Get ready, come to work, and then I'm here 12 hours. But the work is so stimulating and consuming, so you don't feel it, right? So the thing is that if your thought process is positive, devoid of greed, arrogance and jealousy. Greed, arrogance and jealousy is a triad which will destroy a human being. So if those things don't enter your mind and you're always doing some positive work, you don't feel tired because you get the energy from what you're doing. I find the most magical is Vipassana. Actually, it's breathing exercises which actually puts you into a sort of a meditative state. And it takes 10 minutes for me. And I do it on my way home in the car. And I wake up from it like a new person so that the whole stress of the day is wiped out. No, but that's the beauty. The more complicated the case, the more it stimulates you, it excites you. So by nature of my profession and the fact that I started cardiac surgery at the earliest stage of life, I've been through nobody knows more about coronary artery disease and its complexities than I do because I've done more surgeries than I think anybody in the world. So the point is that with all that experience, every day doing new developments, the more complicated the case, and by nature of my seniority, a lot of complicated cases come to me which have been turned down by everybody, the more it is stimulating and encouraging to go and tackle more and more and help more and more people who otherwise had no hope. That hard work does not kill people. Long hours don't pay. It's the way you actually take it in and interact with your environment that is terrible. So if you are indulging in positive activity, which makes you happy and satisfied inside and gratification, you don't even feel the time going by. If you are in activity which is non-productive by way of any meaningful thing, then it has a limited value. So how long can you think about money? How long can you think about doing certain things? But you see professions like ours, professions like journalism, professions like even to a great degree lawyers. They get involved. They don't get tired. They keep working. They keep working because it's creative. It's leading to society's benefit somehow or the other. As I said, today there is more and more desire to live healthy. The, as the economic conditions of yours and your environment improves, the next thing you want is you want to live, and you want to live healthier so that you're not dragging after the age of 50 getting sicker and sicker. So the desire is there. Now the desire has to be converted into an actual plan so that you can have that discipline in you. So we are saying the simple principles: eat fat, fried, sweet, less, the least. So what you like the most, you eat the least. It's an unfortunate thing. Then comes things like meats, poultry and all that in the next proportion, not too much. Then we go fruits and vegetables in as much quantity as you want. Avoid sweet fruits which are rich in sugar, like mango, like melon, but other fruits are good. Then we have, beyond that, you need carbohydrates as a fuel for your body. So carbohydrates like sugar, rice, potatoes, these are bad carbohydrates. If you take multigrain bread, you take raw sugar, complex carbohydrates are okay. So that's why if you keep this in mind, you can eat everything. You don't have to eat fried food in large quantities, but small quantities is fine. And then once you've eaten the food, you must do justice to it. And that means that you must consume it. And how you consume is the balance between the two. So if you are eating a lot and you're putting on weight, it's like a bank balance. If you're putting on weight, then you're hurting yourself. You must have a weighing scale. You weigh yourself regularly to make sure you're not putting on weight, because once you put on weight, very difficult to get rid of it. Second, the exercise that you do is proportional. Minimum 30 minutes to 40 minutes a day of brisk walk is at least minimum. It'll keep your circulations, or what we call cardiovascular system, actually in good shape. We all have stress, we all have to deal with it, but we need to learn techniques to deal with it. And the way to deal, as I said, was you do meditation, yoga, vipassana. These are things that help you regularly. Then of course there's music, there is movies, there's family time, there's sports, there is outdoors. So if you include all these things in some proportion, I think you can do the best for your life and stay as healthy and hopefully live longer, healthier.